If you walk into the back of a professional repair shop and look at what the guys on the floor are actually driving, you won't see many $80,000 trucks with massive screens and motorized side steps. Mechanics know a secret that the marketing departments are desperate to hide. Modern trucks are built to pass a lease term, but they aren't built to last a lifetime. I've been turning wrenches for over 20 years, and I've seen every next big thing turn into a $1,000 service bill. But there are a few rare machines that we, the people who see the guts of these vehicles every day, actually trust with our own cash. These are the trucks that will still be on the road when today's shiny new models are being crushed for scrap. But be careful. Even the most reliable truck on this list has one invisible killer that can delete your bank account. I'm going to show you the 7 specific trucks mechanics buy for themselves and exactly how to spot the survivors. Number 7 is the Ford Ranger from 1998 to 2011, a vehicle many mechanics call the honest tool because it represents the absolute pinnacle of simple, no-nonsense engineering. Whether you find the 2.3-liter 4-cylinder or the 3.0-liter Vulcan V6, you're getting an iron block, overhead valve engine with 0 variable valve timing and 0 complexity. It makes almost no power, but it produces a reliability curve that is essentially a flat line for 300,000 miles. I've seen these trucks run with virtually no oil and decades of neglect, yet they still start on the first crank every single morning. When we buy one, we hunt for the Mazda-built M50D 5-speed manual transmission because it essentially makes the powertrain immortal. When you are inspecting one, look at the rear leaf spring hangers for structural rust and listen for a chirping sound near the firewall. That's a failing cam synchronizer. It's a cheap part, but it's a great negotiation point. We buy these for $4,000 to $6,000, refresh the cooling system, and we have a truck that will outlive our grandchildren. But while the Ranger is the king of small trucks, if you need a full-size V8 that refuses to die, regardless of how you treat it, you need the cockroach of the automotive world. Number 6 is the Chevy Silverado from 1999 to 2006, which is affectionately known in the shop as the cockroach, because no matter what you throw at it, it refuses to stay dead. This era features the legendary 4.8 or 5.3-liter Vortec engines. The Gen 3 small blocks that were built before Chevy introduced active fuel management, which ruined later models by eating lifters and cams. These engines are iron block masterpieces with incredible oiling systems and heads that can withstand extreme heat without warping. When we hunt for one of these, we check the rockers and cab corners for rust, but mechanically the only weak link is the 4L60E automatic transmission. If the fluid smells burnt or looks like chocolate milk, use that to crush the seller on price. A mechanic will buy a neglected Silverado for $5,000, spend a weekend on stainless steel brake lines and a transmission cooler, and then put another 200,000 miles on it. It is the ultimate zero depreciation workhorse. But if you value Lexus-like tolerances over raw American iron, you'll want to see why the engine in number 5 is often called the $1,000,000 motor. Number 5 is the first-generation Toyota Tundra from 2000 to 2006, a truck we describe as a luxury tractor because it should not physically exist at this price point. This engine was built in the same high-precision factory as the V8 for the Lexus flagship sedans, meaning the internal tolerances are tighter than a Swiss watch. I have seen these 4.7-liter I-Force engines torn down at 400,000 miles, only to find the factory hone marks still visible on the cylinder walls. It is the most refined truck engine ever put into a half-ton pickup, featuring a forged steel crankshaft, usually reserved for race cars. The one thing that kills these trucks is a snapped timing belt. If it hasn't been replaced every 90,000 miles, the valves hit the pistons. When standing in the seller's driveway, ask for the belt receipt. If they don't have it, knock $1,200 off the price immediately. We replace the lower ball joints with OEM parts the day we bring one home to prevent a wheel collapse. It's the closest thing to a forever truck you can buy for under $12,000. However, if you think Toyota only built high-end V8s, the four-cylinder legend at number 4 is even more indestructible. Number 4 is the Toyota Tacoma from 1995 to 2004, specifically the 2.7-liter four-cylinder version that we call the Unbreakable 4. This isn't a normal car engine. It's a heavy-duty 3RZFE industrial block with a massive timing chain and a cooling system that is twice as large as necessary. While everyone chases the V6, the smart mechanic knows the four-cylinder is the one that will actually hit 500,000 miles. It's the truck that famously survived being placed on top of a building during a controlled demolition and kept running. When buying one, you aren't buying a truck. You're buying a frame. These were notorious for frame rust. So crawl underneath with a hammer and tap the rails near the leaf spring perches. If the sound is dull or chunks of iron fall out, walk away. Mechanics also check the Tacoma lean. If the driver's side sits lower, the leaf springs are shot. We pay the Toyota tax of $8,000 to $14,000 for these, because we know they won't lose a penny in value. But as great as these gas engines are, they lack the raw mechanical soul of the diesel heavyweights that can literally run without electricity. Number 3 is the Dodge Ram 2500 from 1994 to 1998, which mechanics refer to as the mechanical master because of the legendary 12-valve Cummins under the hood. This 6BT engine uses a Bosch P7100 mechanical injection pump, meaning once it's started, the combustion process requires zero computer input or electricity. It is a purely mechanical beast that will run on almost anything and survive conditions that would melt a modern diesel. The secret to buying these is realizing that the truck will fall apart around the engine. The dashboard will crumble and the seats will rip, but the motor is a legitimate million-mile unit. Mechanics hunt for the killer dowel pin, or KDP fix, in the timing case. If the seller hasn't done it, it's a massive negotiation lever. We always look for the 5-speed NV 4500 manual transmission over the weaker automatics. These trucks are expensive, often starting at $15,000, but it's a lifetime investment. But what if you want that same diesel reliability with a better built Ford cab? That's where the high-pressure legend at number 2 comes in. Number 2 is the Ford F-250 from 1999 to 2003, featuring the engine we call the Power Stroke King, the 7.3-liter diesel. Built by Navistar, this is a massive, low-revving industrial engine, built before the era of suffocating EGR systems and fragile turbos. It is a loud, vibrating, smoky beast that creates absolute confidence when hauling heavy loads. The insider tip on the 7.3-liter is the camshaft position sensor. They fail frequently, so a mechanic always keeps 2 spares in the glove box. When buying, we look at the valley of the engine for oil or diesel leaks from the high-pressure pump O-rings. It's a messy job that looks scary to a normal buyer, which is the perfect way for us to negotiate a better price. These trucks are currently in a price bubble, with clean ones hitting $20,000. But they are infinitely more reliable than any modern $100,000 diesel. But even the mighty 7.3 has competition, and the number 1 spot goes to a truck that is so underrated. It's the best-kept secret in the entire industry. Number 1 is the Nissan Frontier from 2005 to 2012, which the savvy mechanic knows as the sleeper of the used truck market. While everybody is overpaying for Tacomas with high mileage, we are buying the 4.0-liter V6 Frontier for $8,000. Its VQ40 engine is a masterpiece derived from Nissan's Z car racing heritage, featuring a massive oil capacity and a sturdy timing chain system that comfortably reaches 300,000 miles. There's only one thing we look for: the strawberry milkshake of death, or SMOD. On 2005 to 2010 models, the radiator could fail internally, mixing coolant with transmission fluid. If the transmission dipstick looks like a pink milkshake, the truck is scrap. But if it hasn't happened yet, we install a $150 auxiliary cooler and bypass the radiator in 20 minutes, preventing the issue forever. We hunt for the Pro 4X models with the factory rear locker and laugh all the way to the bank. Don't buy the brand, buy the engineering.